Now, and I mentioned that, and that's what you'll stay a little bit about the complexity of the future environment. When you have complexity like that, it's leadership that makes the difference. And it is the leader who is able to chart the course through the complexity of these different environments. And you've all seen this, I'm sure, already, that when you're faced with something hard and very difficult, people can become flummoxed. And when you're flummoxed, nothing usually happens. And it takes leaders of character and competence to force their way through the complexity and lead. And in our Field Manual 3, you'll see a section there on leadership. And we say that we want our leaders to be leaders of character and competence, who are supremely competent in their core proficiency, whatever that may be, and then broad enough to do a range of things. We want them to be culturally astute, to have the intellect to see opportunities that present themselves, and the courage to act on them. And we want them to be firmly grounded in the warrior ethos. I will always place the mission first. I will never quit. I will never accept defeat. And I will never leave a fallen comrade. I pinned the Silver Star on a lieutenant that was probably sitting in this audience a couple of years ago. And Nick was on a patrol in Samarra, Iraq, that city where the Golden Mosque was that was blown up, that set off all the sectarian conflict in 2006. It was the middle of the night. They're walking down one of those narrow city roads, and those of you who've been in Iraq know there's wall compounds on either side, so you can't see what's on the other side. And all of a sudden, a hand grenade came over the wall, right into the middle of the platoon. He reacted instinctively. He knew the grenade was going to hurt people in his platoon. He dove on it. It didn't go off. After a couple of seconds, he reached under it, grabbed it, threw it over the wall, and it went off. I said, Nick, what the heck did you think when it didn't go off? He says, I don't know, sir, I just reacted. I said, what'd you think when it did go off? He says, I don't know, sir, I just reacted. But that's the kind of leaders that we're looking for. That's the kind of leaders that you will become. And let me just wrap up with a quote from the President's inaugural address. And this is toward the end of his address, speaking to the country. He held the men and women of the American Armed Forces up to the country as an example of what was necessary to move this country forward. He said, as we consider the role that unfolds before us, we remember with humble gratitude those brave Americans who at this very hour patrol far-off deserts and distant mountains. They've something to tell us, just as the fallen heroes who lie in Arlington whisper through the ages. We honor them not only because they are the guardians of our liberty, but because they embody the spirit of service, a willingness to find meaning in something greater than themselves. And yet at this moment, a moment that will define a generation, it's precisely this spirit that must inhabit us all. And it is precisely that spirit that inhabits each and every one of you sitting here today. Welcome to the profession of arms. Thank you.